It's Mgbgtguy back with you, and today we are at the Columbus Goodguys National Street Rod Nationals. We brought the GT with us. Now, most of you guys who are watching my channel normally would think, well, he's a British car guy, not a street rod guy. Well, I have been a street rod guy since before I discovered and found a passion for the old LBCs. So this is definitely a part of my DNA as well. Now we'll get through registration here and we'll get back to you inside. We are now in the show. We're actually entrant number 4,703. So we'll do a bit of walking around, maybe check out some of the autocross, a bunch of the cars, and try to show you what's interesting here. This one's kind of an interesting build. I like it when people use a bit of ingenuity and creativity to build something, regardless of whether it's nice and beautiful or just rat rod or whatever. And I always like cab overs too. So for those of you who don't know, this event is held at the Ohio State Fairgrounds. This used to bring in about 12,000 cars. Last few years it's been bringing something more like 6, 7. But still lots to see, just not quite as packed as it used to be back in the hot rod heydays of the 90s. But still a lot of cool stuff. And of course you got this trend, there's lots of this around. Of sometimes it's real patina and sometimes it's fake. I'm cool with the real patina, but I don't like when they try to fake it. And I've been seeing a lot of that. But it's still a cool look. And we might actually be doing a patinaed car here in the future. A friend of mine has one we're going to play with. And some of you guys will love it and some of you guys won't. This lot over here is usually full, but I'd say today we've got some questionable weather. It's supposed to be overcast all day. They're calling for like a 30% chance of rain, so that's going to keep some cars away. Seems like this is just going to be one of those years where every event I want to go to, there's at least a chance of rain, which is why we didn't go to Mid-Ohio this year, because it was supposed to rain. And then we got the old Mgbgtguy milk truck. I would love to build one of those someday, but they are so expensive when you do find one anymore because they're so rare and popular. And of course, I love that body style El Camino too. For my audience, everybody will recognize this car, and some will like it, some won't. Obviously, it's got a blown big block in it. But hey, his car, he can do what he wants with it, and still fun. I'm not saying I like it, I'm not saying I hate it, but I would prefer a Traveler to not be cut up or something like this, but maybe it started out as a rough car. And then, like I say, with my cars, everybody complains about my cars, but I always start with stuff that no one else would have restored anyway, so. Nice little shower run through here, and it rained on us for about 45 minutes, so there's not a whole lot of cars left, but we're still here, and maybe we can still get some video of a few more cars that are left. So let's get going and start walking around. I do like my long roofs as well, especially if it's a two-door wagon, which is usually pretty rare to see. What is this thing? Oldsmobile. That's why I didn't notice it right. I didn't get it right away. Yeah, cool. There's quite a big mix of old stuff and newer stuff now that they've opened up the to just 25 years old instead of just 48 and earlier. But lots of interesting stuff here. Lots of cars that I would like to own someday, but probably never will. Cool old traditional street rods like that. And a lot of the new trendy stuff running around here too. An old SS Nova here. That was the first new car my dad ever bought, was one of those. And then he didn't have it very long because my brother came along. Gotta love the old big body cars from the day, in the early 60s, late 50s. Of course, I tend to have a soft spot for old S10s because I used to have one back in the day. Not much into this dunk look, but to each his own, and I can still appreciate the workmanship if they're done right. For those of you who thought maybe Chevy was the first one to do that sliding roof in the back on an SUV with their Trailblazer, Studebaker did it first, or at least before they did. I would have thought that the people within the buildings here would have been the ones that more likely to stick around with the rain, but looks like it's clearing out pretty good back in here too. Now we're in another new lot here. Got a Edsel Custom. How many of them could possibly be out there, huh? Actually, probably the ones that are left are probably getting turned into customs because everybody's looking for something different anymore. 340 Charger, a Cadillac, and the F100. That's one of my other vehicles on my list of ones I'd like to do someday. As well as the old shoebox Ford, 4950 range. So back here we got the nitro cars running right now. This is the for sale lot. Every car in here should be for sale. This is a pretty good row of vehicles. It's all the GM stuff that I really liked back in the day. SS Monte Carlos and Z28s. I had a 78 at one time. And then the old square body Chevy. My dad had one of them growing up, so I have a soft spot for those things too. Alright, well, things are clearing out fast around here, even though the show's not quite over. So we're going to wrap it up for now and see you in the next video.